And in the back, you'll see the brown antelope with the long curved horns over there. Those are the sable antelope, and they're the emblem of our reserve here. They're not afraid to use those long horns to defend themselves, and in the decision to fight or flight, they always choose to fight. They don't back down. That's why they're our emblem. Just as they're known for being tough and unyielding, so are we when it comes to defending all these awesome animals and their wonderful homes out here. We are working to help them out in a lot of different ways. Giraffe are one of the animals we're working to help. They are endangered, and they actually have already gone extinct from 7 countries in Africa, so they really do need as much support as we can give them. Giraffe are going to spend almost all day eating. They barely sleep. They'll sleep about 30 minutes each and every day. That's it. Those 30 minutes don't even have to be consecutive. They'll sleep standing up or sitting down. They can lay all the way down, but they usually don't. It makes them a lot more vulnerable to predators that way. And the black buffalo on our right, actually, their necks are long, but not long enough to reach the ground. So you notice how she has the spread her front legs really, really wide. Going to reach. And we are going to have at least one zebra over here on the right, probably a few more, as we head through a group of zebras called a dazzle of zebra, which is my favorite animal group name. But there are a lot of great animal group names out there. So if you're bored heading along the lines this trip, but it's very entertaining. Lots of good ones out there. And believe it or not, giraffe have the same number of bones in their neck as you have in yours. 7 vertebrae for them, and 7 vertebrae for us. Their bones are a lot larger than ours are, but you could still say we are neck and neck. Sorry, I get one bad joke per safari. More than that, they could send me to Jungle Cruise, and I can't risk that. It's true that they have long necks. They have about an 18-inch long tongue and prehensile lips, so they can eat all the parts of the trees they want and pretty easily avoid all the parts they don't want, like the thorns. And whenever they do that, they often end up with pollen stuck on their noses. So giraffe are the world's largest pollinators, helping the food that they eat from to grow, which is pretty cool. It's a good way to keep that ecosystem in balance. Up on the hill on our right, all the way back there, you can see the big horns sticking up on those Ankole cattle. Their horns work kind of like air conditioning. They actually are going to help. They can pump blood up through their horns. It cools off and spreads to the rest of their bodies. Pretty neat. And those little brown antelope you can see out there, those are springbok. They're just napping, so they might not look super exciting, but they're pretty neat. They actually are the national animal of South Africa, the mascot for many of their sports teams, and the 3rd fastest mammal on land. They can run 55 miles an hour, jump 6 feet straight in the air, 13 feet across. It's super cool. We have even more giraffe here on our left. And it is super lucky to get to see this many giraffe. Like I said, they are endangered, so it's really important that we work to help them. If you want to learn more about what Disney is doing to help out these animals, head to disney.com/conservation, and it's going to tell you all about all the different projects. A lot of the times we partner with other groups that are doing great work too, so it's a great place to learn a little bit more. And I recommend following some of those groups on social media. That's a free and easy way to help them out. And don't underestimate how helpful it is to stay informed, stay aware, to know what's going on throughout the world, throughout the wild out here. So what I do, I follow all the different groups on social media. So if I open social media, I only see animal pictures, which is exactly what I want. On our left over here, you're going to see some monkeys, some mandrill. They're actually the world's largest monkeys. On the right, we'll have an elephant as well. We should be able to see him again here in a second. So mandrill are the world's largest monkeys, known for the bright colors they have on their faces, their backsides, and things are whole stomachs for the food inside their cheeks. Make sure we do stay completely seated at all times back there. On our right, we do have an African elephant. We're going to come up this way so you can get a closer look at him. This guy's about 36 years old, and he weighs over 12,000 pounds. He's pretty awesome. He's also the star of the first episode of a show called The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom, and that show's on Disney Plus, so you can see more of him when you go home if you want. Now, elephants are going to eat on average about 300 pounds of food each and every day. They have to eat so much because they have very inefficient digestive systems, so half of what they eat comes right back out, looking more or less the same as it looked when it went in. There's so much grass and elephant poop. It's used to make paper. You can buy it at poopoopaper.com if you want some. I have some. It's pretty great. Saves trees. Makes a great gift. Not many places can supply 300 pounds of plants per elephant per day though, which is part of why they are always on the move, looking for more food. A little bit too often lately, elephants have been finding food that doesn't belong to them, like farmland. Elephants love fruits and vegetables and knocking things over for fun. So if they find a farm, to them that's like a free buffet and a playground. And eat as much of it as they can. But it's not super fair for the farmers relying on those crops for their livelihood. So it's been leading to a lot of conflict between the people and the elephants. So we've been working with the Save the Elephant Foundation on ways to help out with this, and we actually were helping to study how elephants communicate with one another. And guys, we're gonna have another family of elephant here on our left. We're gonna be able to see them better here in just a minute. We can start to keep an eye on them now. But we learned that elephants talk to each other all day long. They make lots of different rumbles and grumbles and gurgles and purrs, but our ears can only hear about 20% of the noises that they make, even if we're standing right next to them. So we'd use some special technology to tell us about the rest of what elephant we're saying. But once we did that, we learned that elephants are actually afraid of bees. They don't like bees at all. They have very sensitive skin, especially around their ears and their trunks. And the African honeybee has one of the most powerful bee stings in the world. And an elephant never forgets, so it only takes one bee sting up the trunk before they don't want to deal with that again. So we were able to help the farmers put up bee-hive fences around the crops, and it worked really, really well. It saved the elephants' lives, the farmers' livelihoods, and it's been helping out bees, so it's been a real win-win-win all the way around. Elephantsandbees.com if you want to learn more about that one. This is an elephant family here on our left, so it's going to be the mom on the far left and her daughters. They're 5, 11, and about to be 16. It's not easy being an elephant mom. They are pregnant for 22 months at a time, and they nurse for 2 to 4 years after that. You can get a better look at those Ankole cattle there on the right, as well as some wildebeest. See those big white horns. Those Ankole cattle are domesticated as well. Now the female elephants are going to stay with their herds their whole lives. Groups of elephant are always led by a matriarch, the oldest and wisest female in charge. On our left is a whole flamboyance of greater flamingo. We're called the greater flamingo not just because they're the best, but because they're the tallest of all the different types of flamingo. They stand between 4 and 5 feet tall and do stand most of the time on just one leg. They have better balance on one leg than they do on two. So they usually sleep on one leg with just one eye open. Keep an eye out for predators. Now the gray ones on the far end are the chicks that hatched earlier this year. When flamingos first hatch, they're small and gray and fluffy. They reach the size and shape of an adult flamingo pretty quickly, but it takes a lot longer, over a year, for that pink color to come all the way in. Flamingos' color does come from their diet. So they eat a combination of itty shrimp and algae just floating in the water, and it contains a pigment called beta-carotene. It's actually the same thing that makes carrots and sweet potatoes orange, and it builds up in their bodies and makes them pink. It's pretty cool. Also pretty cool, on our left we have a Crashel white rhino. That little one laying down is about a year old. He already weighs over 1,600 pounds, but he's still the cutest thing in the whole world. White rhino are going to be a little bigger than the black rhino. They can weigh up to 5,000 pounds as adults, and they're going to be much more social than the black rhinos. They actually like to live in groups. A group of rhino was called a crash because they have horrible eyesight. They rely a lot more on their sense of hearing. And white rhino, like all rhino, are in danger. They are in trouble. These ones are the southern white rhino. There's one other subspecies of white rhino called the northern white rhino, but unfortunately, there are only 2 individual northern white rhino left in the whole world today. They are both older females, so it's really important that we work to save these ones while it's still possible for us to do that. Now here at Animal Kingdom, we've been working with all the other accredited zoos in the country, in the world. We've been working to save as many of these animals as we can. And right here at Animal Kingdom, we do have the most successful white rhino breeding program in the whole country. There have been 13 white rhino born on this reserve so far, and some of the rhinos that were born right here are living in the wild in Uganda today, having calves of their own. So we've been a part of some really cool reintroduction projects too. Hopefully we'll be able to keep up the good work, but you can also check out what other accredited zoos are near you. We're accredited by the AZA, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, And that's what gets us the participation in those species survival plans. If you probably would do near you, do the same thing. On our left, look up. On the second tallest rock there, we do have a lion sleeping. Lion are going to be resting for 16 to 20 hours each and every day. We're going to go slowly around. We might be able to see their face on the other side. We'll find out. But they are going to want to spend most of their time sleeping because they don't care for the heat at all. They're going to make sure they're sleeping through the hottest parts of the day. Oh, and actually, before we get into the lions, on our right, you see that little brown and white antelope laying up there? This guy's a Bontebok, and he's a senior citizen antelope. He's already exceeded his typical life expectancy, so we're very proud of him. And it's pretty much a miracle to get to see Bontebok. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about them here in just a couple minutes, because I do want to give us time to talk well about these lions. And ostrich on the right. You can see this ostrich on the right hand side, laying down, sitting down. That's good. That's why we like them. Ostrich are the only animal out here that scare me. They can run 40 miles an hour, which is way too much, and they have the largest eyes of any land animal at about 2 inches across, even more than eyes is larger than their brain, so you never know what they're going to do next. But on our left, you can see that lion a little bit better. So lions don't really like the heat. They also have really, really good night vision. So they want to make sure they're hunting and most active when they can use that night vision for more of an advantage while they're hunting. When it is time to hunt, it is the girls, the females, that'll do all the hunting for the pride. They're actually better at it than the males are, but even so, lions have at best about a 20% hunting success rate, so they do need all the help that they can get. Want to make sure they have as much energy as they can. On our left, we have warthog. Warthog are members of the pig family. They're very, very smart. They like to live in burrows, and they can make their own burrows, but they usually find a way to steal them from other animals instead. Work smarter, not harder when you can, right? Usually they steal from aardvarks. Aardvarks like to have lots of extra burrows, so they don't even use all the ones that they make. And you can see those ostrich here on the right. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that Bontebok that we saw. So it's really, really lucky to get to see any Bontebok at all today because they almost went completely extinct. At one point, there were only 17 Bontebok left in the entire world. One farmer went out and brought as many as he could onto his land. He actually ended up finding the last remaining 17, but he didn't even know it at the time. And then from those 17 Bontebok, they brought their numbers all the way back up. Today, Bontebok are back at healthy and sustainable population sizes. They're proof that even one person can make a really big difference. And it is possible for us to save animals even from the very, very brink of extinction, which is all really, really important. They're a true conservation success story, and there's more of them out there. So, especially today, I'm a little extra thankful for Bontebok. It proves that there's hope for the rest of these endangered animals yet. And this farmer on our left is working to help them. So these goats are the Nigerian dwarf goats. They're domesticated dairy goats. They don't get any bigger than this, and they can produce sweet and high protein milks and cheeses that'll help lessen the farmer's reliance on other wildlife. The yellow thing hanging in the yard is what one of those beehive fences would look like to help keep out those crop-breeding elephants, like I mentioned earlier from the Elephants and Bees project. And those are some great ways to help out if you're a farmer living off the land. But personally, I'm going to keep getting my milk and cheese from the grocery store. I don't have any elephants in my backyard to worry about either. But even if that's the case for you, I still recommend helping out the bees where you can. Bees are endangered in most parts of the world right now, and we need them. They pollinate about a third of the world's crops, and they're the only animals that can pollinate tomatoes. So if you like to eat pizza, help out the bees. Plant some flowers for them. Watch your use of pesticides. Anything like that. It's going to add up to make a really big difference. Also, look for as many ways as you can to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Try not to buy as many things that you don't actually need. I've been working on paying attention to the recycling of things, the packaging of things I buy too, picking things that are more recyclable or have less packaging than others. A lot of those reusable items like reusable water bottles and grocery bags, they'll make your life easier and often save you money in the long run. Hardest part about them is just getting in the habit of using them. So try to make a goal, a small goal, and see if you can work on it.